Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Apologies if you heard me coughing just as we went live. Then literally, as soon as I hit the button to switch to this scene, I got one of those little frogs in your throat. So if you got that, then yeah, good morning. I've got my flame in your ears. Lovely way to start the day. But yes, my name is Graham Day, and this guy in the screen right here, there we go, is Mr. We've Got Babinho. Baby. We just need to test a couple of things. Literally, as soon as we started to go live, then everything started to like drop off at my side. The bit rate took a bit of a nosedive. So let's test. Good morning, baby.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a task today because I can hardly hear you through stuff.
See, exactly same thing. 1 second. Okay, let me do some maintenance. I will try and kill some tabs here. Just gonna.
Have you got the Twitch app open on your PC?
I may have. Just give me 1 sec. I'm just closing a bunch of windows and stuff. Okay, retweet that one. Yeah, get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. I don't have the Twitch app open. Okay, can you hear me now? Or is it still struggling? Okay, let's do this one instead then. Let's go to shoulder screen. Bib on the shoulder. I'm going to end the call with you and call you back. Boom. Let's see if this changes anything. But if not, welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Obviously, my name is Graham Dane. Hopefully, if we get him back, we will have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. At We've Got Babinho on Twitter. We call him Bibe or Bube or all sorts of other things when he's not around. And we are bringing you our thoughts, our impressions on the news from the games industry. We do that. We bring you a daily dose of the games industry news each and every single weekday, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you are in the chat, please feel free to say hello, because that will help us pad over these technical difficulties that we're having right now. Yeah! But obviously, you guys in the chat, you get to interact with us as we go through the news live. Anyone else, and that includes people that watch our audio and video podcasts, don't get to have that opportunity. You guys are the only people who get to interact. Give us your thoughts on our thoughts on the news, so we want to hear your impressions. And I did mention podcast. We have a video podcast that goes live roughly an hour after this show. We go live on youtube.com, and funnily enough, the URL is /Ice Cream Uploads. So youtube.com/Ice Cream Uploads. Around an hour after we finish on Twitch, we put an on-demand video on there, and then a little bit later on the day, we have four different places where you can digest our audio podcasts. That's iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and the behemoth that is SoundCloud. Yeah, we've got Bibby noises. Yeah. As plays in the chat says, is Bibby late again, Kappa? No, he was here actually. He was here before I was. All set up, ready to go. But we're just having laggage difficulties, so I just put him on the shelf. But we'll bring him back in the room. Can you hear us now properly, Bib?
Ish.
Okay, well, that's good. Good morning as well to Mr. Jimmy Dance. Is that Jimmy Dance of Loading Bar fame? If it is, good morning. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime, amigo. Very much appreciate it. I wasn't doffing my cap, although I am going to do now because, you just dropped a Twitch Prime. But I was, tinkering with that hat. But if that is Mr. Loading Bar Jimmy, how the devil are you, sir? And if that is Mr. Loading Bar Jimmy as well, I have... it is the same Jimmy Dance. Good morning. I have to, it's a bit harsh when you throw people under the bus, and I'm sure Bibby knows what I'm about to say next, but do you know those beautiful Loading Bar beers that you got? We may have had an accident with one of those, and one of those may have been destroyed. And when I say we, I entirely mean Bibby. we
I'm taking no responsibility for this.
We obviously had them on the studio desk where Bibby is. I'll jump into the studio, actually, 1 second. So there we go. Hi, baby. So on that desk at the front end of the studio, we had the 4 cans as nice, sexy decoration because they go really well with the Ice Cream Uploads colour scheme. But Bibby may have catapulted one off the edge of the desk in his restructuring of the studio mindset, and we ended up with Loading Bar all over the place. Ta-da!
It smelled nice anyway, so if in front of the can, Bibby said it smelled nice.
I was struggling this morning when it comes to connection. I think we will have to interpret Bibby's like R2D2 noises as to what we kind of think his impressions are. I mean, a little bit of spoilerish. There is some Resident Evil content in there, so that's going to be quite difficult trying to see what Bibby's saying through the manner of like Morse code that he's communicating, trying to guess what he's saying there.
I'll just shout a lot. It's fine. A few screams.
Okay, well, let's jump into the news. We have quite a few stories today. Hi! Thank you very much for the 100 bits as well for the cleaning bill. Oh, we should get it in text-to-speech. Is it going to work? Is it? No, it's not. But yes, 100 bits for the cleaning bill. There you go, Bib. We should have you destroying a few more things a bit regularly if that's how it works. Good morning to Number One Pirate as well. Thank you very much for the host. Just in time, as I'll bring it up on screen now, we're going to jump into our first bit of news. Obviously, we've kind of struggled the last few days. Say few weeks, obviously. December/early January usually isn't the most forthcoming time in the games industry in terms of news. There's not usually a lot to talk about, whereas, I mean, not that we've had any struggles hitting an hour and a half every programme when we usually want to be about an hour. So, but we do have quite a bit to get through, so let me just jump in. So the first news article today, written by Sherif, Saed for VG247.
1 second. Hello! There we go. We said we'll put it with Enforcer. He comes in with the hello. You've got to say it, haven't you? You've got to get into character.
Beautiful.
Morning, Pirate.
Beautiful. Loved it. Thank you very much for the host as well. Ads, much appreciated, dude. And obviously, anyone else that wants to get involved with any follows or hosts while we're on air, feel free to do that. Actually, one thing, talking about follows, before I forget, because I usually do towards the end of the stream, we are running a competition for Resident Evil content. I will just say that now. If you want to check it out whilst we're reading through this article, check out our Twitter page. But if not, I will mention it again when we get to the Resident Evil content of the stream. Anyway, so Sony's Experience PlayStation NYC event has fans thinking it'll host a PS5 reveal. Once again, written by Sherif Saed for VG247. He says, "Is Sony quietly hinting at a PS5 reveal at this NYC event?" Sony has announced it's hosting a month-long celebration at its Sony Square NYC store called Experience PlayStation. It kicks off today and will remain until February 16th. Although the event's page explicitly states it's focused on PS4 and PSVR titles, which Bibby's just landed himself a bit of a PSVR kit this morning, I've seen on Twitter, cha-ching. The timing has fans wondering if it'll be capped off with a PS5 reveal. PS4, as you may recall, was first unveiled at a February 20th, 2013 event in New York, Sony dubbed as PlayStation Meeting. This is partially why some are suggesting Sony may be officially revealing the PS5 at this year's event. The last time Sony showed off a new console in New York was the PS4 Pro event, which took place at the now closed even, PlayStation Theatre in September 2016. The 2013 PlayStation Meeting, on the other hand, was held at the Manhattan Center. Given the company's increasing reliance on its own events to the detriment of major shows like E3, nice segue there to get the latest news article link there. Good job, Sherif. There's a good chance it will also choose to show its next-gen console to the world at its own NYC store. For all confirmed PS5 details so far, including release target, specs, games, and more, hit up our page at the link. So, Sony isn't going to E3.
Nope.
Sony will be going to hundreds of consumer events over the year, and Sony definitely is releasing the PS5 in holiday 2020. We still haven't seen it, and now the rumours are suggesting that Experience PlayStation, or PlayStation Experience, what was it called? I'm going to confirm that. Experience PlayStation at NYC, at the Sony store within NYC, could be the place we finally get the news. Do you reckon it's likely, babe?
Pass. I know that's me proper sitting on the fence, but if there's one thing that we know about PlayStation is that they just don't care anymore as to when they're going to announce stuff. Like, how many times have they actually unveiled news about stuff via an article rather than someone stood on a stage? So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens next month. A lot of people are pointing towards us getting information next month about the PlayStation 5.
What us? Me and you? Getting...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If they, I think they are gonna. I think they will say something next month, but I don't think it's the kind of information that we're looking for. I reckon they'll hold the cards to the chest towards later in the year because they don't have to release anything now. Like the hype train's well and truly on its way. It's out the station. They don't need to give us teraflops, ray tracing, and all that shit. We don't even know what the console looks like. Are we going to get a glimpse of it there? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what more I can say about it. They're keeping the cards close to the chest. We're at their beck and call, really. I do think we'll get something next month, but I don't think it's everything that we're going to be needing or want. I think we're going to leave with more questions than we have answers.
I have a question. Clearly, floppy terrors and tracing of rays are the only technical things that I know, and you've just thrown both of them out. How am I supposed to sound intelligent now, babe? God. I reckon Sony will hold their own event to reveal the PS5 in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we mentioned yesterday, isn't it? It's the ball is in their court. They can literally do whatever they want. Why would they want to go to E3 ahead of everybody else and talk about their product and get it not get it watered down, because the PlayStation products will probably never get watered down, especially when it's coming up against something like, I know we're shitting it all the time, but if Stadia decide to start talking about their stuff there, no, there's going to be just one person, super fan at the front on his own, saying that it's better than every single console ever. But yeah, so Sony can do whatever they want whenever they want. We're at their beck and call as PlayStation consumers. I know obviously you've got an Xbox as well, but you hardly even play on that compared to the PlayStation. So
I potentially use my Xbox more often than my PlayStation, actually.
Not for playing games, though, is it?
No, watching Twitch. On my TV.
You use it as the... Well, to be fair, that's how they spent the first part of their conference talking about TV. So
TV.
Yeah, you bought into the TV.
Do you know, I'd never even realised that.
Subconsciously, you've just gone, oh shit, an Xbox, what, a controller? Where's the remote? It's a TV, isn't it?
The thing is, I can actually use my TV remote. I don't even touch the controller. My TV remote, because it's one of those Samsung ones, that like when you plug it in, it recognizes through the HDMI input what the device is, so it comes up at the bottom of the screen, Xbox. So I click on the Xbox input, and it turns the Xbox on, and then I can use my remote to go like boop, 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 up and down or whatever. And then if I hold the back button, I can go to the turn off button. So I don't even touch my Xbox controller. TV. If you're watching the channel, by the way, and you hear us mentioning the TV stuff, and you just think like, what the hell are they on about? Do yourself a favour, go back, and I think it's like the 2013-ish E3 conference from Xbox, and there's a video that someone clipped and put on YouTube, and it was like every mention of TV from the Xbox conference, and it's literally about 30 seconds of like different people going TV.
They basically just memed himself at that point, didn't they?
But yes, I mean, I think April 1st may be a bit far, Ads. So Ads in the chat says, an April 1st Sony prank, but it turns out to be real. I mean, that would be pretty good, though. Imagine, like, and here it is. There, no, can't tell.
The locker, though.
No. The thing with that, though, is that's good for us in terms of we understand that like the intricacies, and we can go well played or whatever. But will the mainstream? Because one of the things that I mentioned yesterday, I said it's good that Sony are confident in themselves and their products and understand what they need, so that they don't need to do E3. The E3 just basically puts them in a pressure cooker with everyone else, and they're all fighting for exposure and column inches, and it costs a lot for that competition. Whereas if you can spend less and just have complete ownership of your messaging, that's what PlayStation are doing. But if you do, what you then lose out on is that pressure cooker. It basically creates like a rolling stone of coverage. Everyone starts to watch everything. Everything goes everywhere. Everyone hears all the news. But you can think if they did an April Fool's that then turned out to be real, you could. I know that your great aunt Margaret or whatever, or your nephew or cousin or whatever is going to be going, "No, that's not even real. It's not even a real PlayStation 5. It was an April Fool's. I know it was," and it's like,
yeah,
no, but it actually was at the end of it. So I think that they probably would stay away from it. I can imagine the creative people in a room sat around the table going, "Oh, imagine if we just flipped it on its head." But then someone is going to be sat in the room going, yeah, but I don't want people to think the PlayStation 5 is fake, so we would like it to just be real, so let's keep away from that. And they'd go, yeah, fair enough, okay. Morning, gents. Cheese omelette is in the pan and I'm feeling frosty. Literally, absolutely Baltic in Glasgow. Good morning, Precision. Anyway, what were you saying then, sorry?
I said, imagine if they was to do it in April, though, with the month of April stacking up as...
No.
I don't know if you heard any of that.
If there was to do it in April with the month of April, is what I heard.
Oh, God, this... Yeah, I can
No.
hardly hear it's just lagging all over the game. With the way that April's stacking up at the moment, with the games that they've got coming out, having a conference there, will that dampen what's being released that month, or will it just build to the excitement?
Good question. I mean, I think that's probably another reason, because obviously, if you haven't announced it, you're not necessarily committed to those dates. The only thing they'd be committed to, if they were holding an event in April, would be contractual obligations in terms of event appearances. So if you book out, let's say the Staples Center, like Microsoft do at E3, Microsoft will book that out. We've got it from, say, the 1st of June to the 10th of June for our setup, our event, and our breakdown. Without announcing that to the public, the only people you're held to are the event, and you can get out of that, but there may be, like, obviously, cancellation fees and things like that. But PlayStation, if they're resting the future of PS5 on that, if they've gone, actually, do you know what? PS5 is getting announced in April, and then all of a sudden, I mean, what was on the calendar bib for April? You did have that previously. Have you still got it to hand?
So, starting in late March, we've got Doom Eternal. April 3rd, Resident Evil 3. April 10th, Final Fantasy. April 16th, Cyberpunk. And then late May, The Last of Us 2.
And then within that, there's the smaller, well, not smaller, Persona's definitely not small, but you've got things like Personas and Predators and all the rest within there as well. So yeah.
Well, I think shall we say these are classed as AAA titles? I mean, Animal Crossing and probably as well. You could class them as AAA titles, but maybe not so in the West. I think them two are probably more popular on the other side of the world than they are over here. Do you not think?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't got the sales to back that up. I'm just going off personal opinion of what I see in European Twitter and other various outlets that Europe can kind of focus on in the video games world. Don't get me wrong, but do European sales count? Do European hype count towards that kind of thing?
I would say that things like Animal Crossing definitely has. Thank you very much to King. Can't speak. King Comic. Thank you very much for the host, dude. Also, King. Do you know what? Elder Kings, welcome in. I will learn to speak and say your name properly. Oh my god. Okay, let's just pretend that none of that happened. Rewind, start again. Thank you to King Comic for the host. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I think Animal Crossing, it definitely is massive elsewhere. Probably, I mean, I know that there are massive followings for it, and you will find there's people that are extremely passionate about it in the UK. And if you go to somewhere like a MCM or a EGX or something, you will see these little community meetups and stuff like that. But I'd say that kind of, from my perspective, what I've seen anyway, kind of boxes it off little community meetups. It's definitely more cult, as opposed to if you go east or even to the other side of the US kind of thing. I mean, particularly if you like LA sort of area, you do get a lot of, because of, I don't know. Yeah, do you know, a lot of words to say. I definitely think you're right in terms of it's not necessarily something from aimed at the European audiences, Animal Kingdom, but there is a big following for it. Sorry, what's the topic, says King Comic 7. Oh, do you know what? Actually, it's funny you say that because, pow! I didn't know to put it on the screen. PSX in NYC. So this is what we're discussing now. PSX, which is kind of annoying because that's what they used to call it. PSX was the PlayStation experience. But just to make it a little bit more confusing, PlayStation, rather than having the PlayStation experience, are going to have an event, or are currently running a month-long event called Experience PlayStation at their store in NYC. And the rumours are that at the Experience PlayStation event, they will release the PS5 at the end of the event. Or at least some point within that event. And that's tying into the fact that the PS4 was announced at an event called PlayStation Meeting in New York City in February in 2013. So a lot of that kind of all those similarities tie into the fact that PS5. So now what we're doing is just kind of throwing a few ideas around. The bit I was talking about then, I'd suggested maybe it comes out in April, possibly an April Fool's that isn't an April Fool's. It's actually true. But then we were talking about the absolutely stacked calendar for April with so many games coming out then. I personally think it will come sooner. I would be surprised if we don't see it February, March, rather than dropping back to April. Purely because of that release window, they wouldn't. Not that it'll take the shine away from them. I think it allows them to have the PS5 conversation and then let it rest, and then have the big finish for PS4. Plus, when you get to like May, you also then get the opportunity of, The Last of Us 2 is out, it's on PS4, and then when they can come out, that's when they go, it's also coming on PS5 at the end of the year, and then everyone will go, oh my god, stand up, people will start like harakiriing in the audience and stuff like that, and whatever. So actually, harakiri's suicide in it. No, don't do that in the audience. No. So yeah, that is my thoughts. So do you guys think the next PES will be on PS5? Also, will it likely be they will remake the game from fresh? Well, my opinion on that is the only thing we have to look at on that. If you look at what's happened previously, PES 2014, 2015. That was 2014 was PS3. 2015 was the first next gen PES. And if you look at where that fell, 2014 was the year that the next gen consoles, which is obviously current gen for us now, came out. PES didn't hit the next gen consoles. FIFA did. Arguably, it was a decent game. FIFA 14 was, but didn't really push the envelope. And that's kind of usually what you get with the next gen sort of stuff. You get an okay game if you bring it out at the start. If you've got an annual release and you bring it out at the start of a gen, usually the first one is either alright or it's a flop. So usually what PES has done is kind of, okay, well, we're not going to rush to get something out. We'll wait till the next one. That's usually what happens. However, I don't know. The games industry has evolved massively even since last gen. Like now we've got early access stuff and so we could get a PS5 game this year. We might not get one till next year. I think, well, we won't have long to look at now what we're in January. We'll usually start finding out by April, May, June time. So yeah, within the next 5 or 6 months, I'll tell you then. On the fence, yeah. Question dodged.
Well, that's something that Ad says there is something that obviously I've been waiting to hear more on, which is the fact that the PS5 is going to be potentially backwards compatible. So then, does it really matter if we've got one coming out on the PlayStation 5 straight away? I mean, ideally, we'd obviously like them to start on a new engine. So if that's the case, yeah, take your time. We'll just play We'll just play that version on my PS5. I'm still playing on my PS5. Fair enough, the graphics might not be 4K, 8K, 150 billion K with the teraflops and ray tracing and all that other shit that I have absolutely no idea about. But yeah, not really bothered about whether or not it does or doesn't. If I'm being totally honest, I'll still be able to play PES. I mean, I'm still the guy that's playing PES 2 on my PS2. So if I have to wait a year or so, am I asked? Probably not. So obviously this goes back to the conversation that you just mentioned then about how it was dealt with the PS3 to the PS4. Who knows? Who knows, mate?
Yeah, we'll know in a few months. And as King Comment says, then that's hope this year goes fast. Well, that's kind of thing. The mighty Queen. Good morning, hey guys in the chat. Very good that it's backwards compatible. I mean, we're waiting for confirmation on that. We don't know that for certain. It was kind of said and then almost backtracked upon. So we're just waiting for absolute confirmation on that. But that would be good to know. Wasn't it rumored that either the PS4 or Xbox One were going to have a TV tuner and be able to time shift and record live TV? That I believe was the Xbox, because I know that on my Xbox, I have seen some TV tunery stuff within it, and I don't know. I've never used it because obviously I don't want TV on my Xbox, but I do. Wow. But I know there is some TV options within there, but I just don't bother looking at it because I've got all my TV stuff. I hardly watch live TV as it is. I watch it on demand, pre-recorded on Netflix kind of stuff, or Twitch. So yeah, I mean there is something in there, but I'm not entirely sure. Bibby hit the nail there. On which bit? I can't remember. I don't have a very good memory when it comes to talking about.
I'm guessing it was the being able to play. Like I'm playing PES2 on my PS2. I'm not really asked if I'm having to wait another year for the game to come out on the PS5. We can still play the PS4 version on the PS5. It's not as if I need to buy 2 different copies of the same game because I'm playing it on 2 different consoles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the thing is as well is I don't expect the jump in terms of visual integrity or visual fidelity from Gen 4 to Gen 5, so from PS4 to PS5, I don't think the jump from that generation visually will be phenomenal to start with. I think it will be good. Obviously, you'll see it, but imagine the jump from PS2 to PS3 was quite big. The jump from PS3 to PS4 was obviously noticeable, but not at the time. Look at what we've got at the end of the generation versus the start of the generation. There wasn't such a significant jump. So that getting, like, if the consoles come out holiday 2020, we get football games usually August, September of the year. So if the consoles come out October, November, December, I think obviously we'll have a football game. It will have been out a few months already. By the time we get to the next year, then that's where we should be looking at it, because there probably won't be that much. There will be so much learned in that first year of console hands-on, the devs fully working with it. I think that's where it works anyway. But yeah, like you say, if you get the backwards compatible stuff, then who cares? Speaking about backwards compatibility, just realising that we've been on for 33 minutes again. We're good at getting into the nitty-gritty of content here on Ice Cream Uploads at the moment. But speaking of backwards compatibility, would you play the old Resident Evil 3 again if you could play it? I mean, do you know what? Let's shelve that question. How about playing the new Resident Evil 3, as I've just put on the screen? There was another news article written out. Usually I'd throw this at Bibby, but because we're struggling with connection issues today, I'll just jump straight through it, and then we can just watch Bibby's face afterwards and see the reactions. So obviously we have another piece of Resident Evil news. We didn't want to cover it, but Bibby, you know what, he'd thrown his toys out of the pram. But yeah, let's jump into it. Here's our best look yet at Resident Evil 3's... Little bitch. Resident Evil 3's Nemesis. And the tagline says, "Face off." This is written by Tom Phillips for Eurogamer, and he says, Capcom has shown off its excellent-looking Resident Evil 3 remake in a fresh trailer, which gives our best glimpse yet at its big, bad Nemesis. Fans of the original will know you'll face the partly face... Oh, I can't even read. Okay, fans of... It's the fact that it says face, partly faceless. Yeah. Fans of the original will know you'll face the partly faceless Nemesis multiple times through the game, tentacles and flamethrower included. Was that a smell of calamari? Today's trailer comes with an accompanying batch of screenshots too, where we can also see one of the game's new sections where you play as mercenary Carlos Oliveira for the first time. There's plenty to chew through though before Resident Evil 3 arrives on the 3rd of April. So I'll jump through some screenies. I don't know anything about any of who these characters are supposed to be. So how would you want to do this, babe? Do you want me to just flick through the images and then you talk about them afterwards, or do you want me to flick through and you say who each person is as we go?
Well, I can try. I don't. As I said, I'm struggling trying to actually hear you. Where you just get his R2D2 all over the place.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll just quickly flick through these images because I know nothing about who they are. So I'm assuming that's Carlos. Or someone bleeding. I don't know.
Carlos has got the big wiggy hair.
Oh yeah, that's Carlos. Okay, there we go. Codename Nemesis. Cartridge for a bioweapon. So is Nemesis a bioweapon? Oh my god! Yes. There he is. There's a guy. Another guy. That's Bibby when he's just come out of the toilet and he knows what he's left in there for you. Oh my god. Angry man. A guy going to the Cine R. Do you know what I mean?
The cinema. No, that's Brad. He was in the first one. He flew the plane. The second one, you see him underneath the. Yeah. Okay.
Well, these images, as I'm flicking
they
through,
look stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. I mean, I am taking the mick as I'm talking through purely because I don't have the awareness of the subject matter. But is that? I mean, is it Jill Valentine? Is she the character, or is that a different one? I don't know. Who's the woman in the blue tank top?
Yeah, so that's Jill.
Yeah.
So she's the main. She's the main person. So Nikolai and Mikolai. Mikhail. That's it. And you got Mikhail and Nikolai. So, just for ease, Nikolai doesn't wear a beret. Mikhail wears the beret. So in slide 11 that you can see there in image 11, you got Mikhail with Jill on the train.
So in the next one, slide 12, is that Jill on the end of a big sort of rocket launcher?
It looks like it, yeah. That doesn't happen in the original game, so I'm interested to see what kind of cutscene that is.
Get out of here! It's like a reverse Scorpion. Yeah. So now we've seen a little bit more on Nemesis, babe. Obviously, you quite like the look of it, but you didn't like it anywhere near as much as Nemesis from the film. Now you've seen a little bit more of him and his big badass rocket launcher. What are your thoughts?
Well, in slide 17, that looks a lot more like the Nemesis that I'm used to seeing. There's still, for me, is a bit too much gum in the bottom lip, and there's also the teeth are way too big. But the character model, apart from that, that's perfect for me. I understand it's obviously a remake and they want to try and make it look a little bit different. I still think that the Resident Evil 2 film had the best looking Nemesis. Because obviously before that we only had the game, which was it was a pixely mess, shall we say, because obviously you couldn't see all of the facial features with it being on the PlayStation 1. But now we've got this. What was the name of it? Photogeometric blur.
Photogrammetry.
Photogrammetry. They tried to use photogrammetry, so this is probably the closest that we're ever going to see to a potential, I'll say this in air quotes, lifelike version of Nemesis that we're ever going to see.
I want to see a lifelike
it looks dynamite.
fake monster.
Yeah, I want to see all 9 foot of him with his receding gums. But yeah, 17, he looks dynamite, to be fair. And just, I want to see, Dario is on slide 1. You only briefly see him in the very first part of the Resident Evil 3 game. So you burst through the door and he gets into the back of a trailer, and then you don't see him again after that. You can go back and pick up some notes that he leaves, but you never actually see him away from that.
What is the significance of the crabs?
That's a very good question, because I have absolutely no idea. I don't remember that. There is a restaurant like halfway through the original, but I don't know if it was a crab restaurant. It seems weird that they're showing a lot of that. The guy with the balding head on slide 6, I'm not necessarily sure who that is. That seems weird. But to be fair, I'm just going to use that as a meme of waiting for more Resident Evil news. I'm going to post that every single day on my Twitter.
Although, to be fair, I think we can all safely get behind what is unquestionable suggestion that he's sat there watching the scoop. That's what he's everyone's like, oh my god, there's a big monster with a rocket launcher, and he's like, yeah, but I want to see if they can sort out Bibby's connection because he's got some shit to say.
But yeah, looking at Carlos in slide 8 against one of the hunters, Willis tagged me in that yesterday on Twitter, because I didn't even see that this news article went live. He tagged me in that when I was on my commute home, so it wasn't until I got in and I read this I was over the moon with some of the stuff that they're releasing. But yeah, I mean, we're very, very close now, and I can't wait to be able to stream this again for you all.
Well, we've had a lot going on in the chat, so let's go back through. When Konami waited for the release of PES 2015 instead of going to PES 2014, they said the main reason was to ensure it's the best game they could offer with the next gen's capabilities. I think they will probably do the same thing. Do you know what? I reckon probably the same thing. And there's always positives and negatives. I mean, like you've kind of said the same thing. It's disappointing but slightly understandable, especially if it's actually good. I mean, there's always positives and negatives with that. If they wait till the next gen, people are always going to go, oh well, it's not out on this gen, and they're going to get beaten with it. If they come out on this gen and it's not that great, oh well, they should have waited for a bit and done it properly. You can win if you are creating the games of that. I would say the only evidence we've got is that PES 2014-15 era. I would say same again, but we could all be surprised and we could be playing PES 20.
Well, in regards to what the Pirate's saying there, I was speaking to Shales and Marlon Anthony, most of you may know him as well, if you're in the PES scene. And we were speaking about FIFA 14 on the PlayStation 4 when it got announced, when it got released, and it was a half decent game. But Shales was saying, obviously I haven't played it for a while, and he's gone back recently and played it and said that it was a decent game, but at the time, it kind of dictated when you wanted to score. So you could have 1,000,001 one-on-ones, and it'd only tell you it only allowed you to score in certain situations, and the teams always scored on the 45th and 90th minute, regardless of how well that you were playing. So you could be winning 5-0, and you'd end up conceding a goal in the 45th or 90th minute.
That's football games. Every football game ever.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits 45 minutes, stop his time. Ah, conceded the equaliser or whatever. Or you're 2-1 up, they score, and then they score in the 45th or 91st minute or something like that.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I mean, we're going back to the PES topic here. I'd much rather, if there was to, I'd much rather him sit out and give us a game that we want to play the year after. It's simple as that. I don't want a half-baked game because it's going to be a launch game. If it was going to be coming out on the PS5, it would. They'd have to release 2 copies in the year, and it's not going to happen, is it? They're not going to release one in September and then release another one in January. It's not going to happen.
I mean, yeah, I'd say the same thing. I would rather wait. I'd play. I mean, I've been happy enough with playing games on the PS4. The only reason I would not be happy playing games on PS4 is because there's a PS5. But if that wasn't in the equation, then you'd still be happy playing it. So I don't mind. I'll wait another year, and then I'll play something bigger, something better, if that's the case. If it isn't, if it comes out in 2015, then fine, I'll play the PS5 version now. Yeah, 2015. Oh, it better not come out in 2015 because that was like 5 years ago. But yeah, you get the point of what I was saying there. Anyway, jumping back through the chat, yes, you would play the old Resident Evil from PS2 over all of them. / the original had me grip. Maybe played it fairly recently, or did you play it just before? Oh wow, I say fairly recently. That was over a year ago. Or did you?
Which one? Sorry.
Resi 2.
The remake.
No, the original.
Oh, the original. I streamed the Resident Evil original one last month, I think it was. We went through the whole thing. So there's 3 parts. You can go on our channel here, rewatch them ones because they're listed as highlights, or you can go onto our YouTube channel. They're also listed on there. I am going to play through the
Nemesis?
second one. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so we played through the third one. I am going to be playing through the second one before this releases as well, and potentially doing the first one. So I'm going to try and get through the original 3 before this game comes out in April.
Precision jumps on to say, I like how the development team didn't change Nemesis's voice too much. What do you guys think of that? I don't know, having not played it. I mean, I've heard Bibby saying that he's like some like meaty voice, and I've heard that like stars kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be anything special. Just let him say stars. Get it as grainy as possible.
Is that all he says? Stars?
That's it, yeah. That's all his program. His program's sick out of Stars members, mate. He's going after Jill, the Umbrella Corporation, with Carlos Oliveira. He's going after them all, mate. He's programmed to kill Stars members. He's going for Jill. That's all there is.
I mean, I've never said this before, but whoever made him and they gave him that as his remake, I mean, why you want to go and put stars in his eyes?
For fuck's sake. How are you going to bring, what was it called, Jack Jones?
Yeah. Twice on the scoop this week. So yeah, feel free to tune in tomorrow where I recycle the joke for a 3rd day in a row. Well, that's it this week. Resident Evil.
What kind of annoys me though is the graphics look amazing, and Slide 11 I would absolutely love as a wallpaper. However, because it's not full res, I think it may look shit if I stretch it. These are all potential wallpaper stuff. Like Mikhail on Slide 9, that's dynamite. The Hunter on Slide 8, Nikolai in Slide 7, they're all really good pictures. However, I want them in high res. I need high res, at least 1080.
You say you do or don't like Slide 11?
No, I do love Slide 11. Slide 11's amazing. It looks great, but in that small little picture there, I don't know what it's going to be like if I was to apply that as my background. Will it stretch and look shit?
Yeah, they need to release like full HD versions of the artwork there so that everyone can properly see it and get their the wallpaper game on.
Absolutely. All good games release good good wallpapers alongside the games and films. I've got a cracking Baby Yoda as my background at the moment.
Okay, just close tab. Yeah, I saw that as I was walking past in the office yesterday. I had to stop to double take because I couldn't see from the first glance whether it was Baby Yoda or Baby Yodoc, like the Doctor Disrespect version with the mustache.
No, I did want that, but they haven't got it in again, it's not in 1080. It's only in like a small phone picture wallpaper thing. But yeah, the one that I've got at the moment is Baby Yoda when he's inside the what does he call it? The big spaceship thing, and he's messing about with the joystick.
It's called a spaceship.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever, mate.
Anyway, jumping ahead, the reason I wasn't giving you all of the answers you want there is because I was multitasking and I can't multitask, which is great for a streamer. Anyway, I'll just bring up our next topic. We'll jump into our next bit of news, and I just want to give the caveat that this is the discussing now slate. FF7, FFS, hey, and that's only written for the banter. I actually think it's quite a good bit of news, and what the news is, let me bring it on screen for you right now. So even though it does say for fuck's sake, it's not really what I'm feeling. So this is written by Emma Kent for Eurogamer. She says Final Fantasy VII Remake delayed to April. I know this means waiting for the game just a little bit longer. See, that for me is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I've put FF7 FFS, but purely for the bans. I think Final Fantasy VII being delayed is a good thing. Anyway, let's jump through to the actual article so you can get a little bit more on that. Emma Kent says, Square Enix has announced that Final Fantasy Remake, originally due to be released on March the 3rd, is being delayed by slightly over a month. Excuse me. The announcement was made via Twitter, where a new release date of April the 10th has been revealed. We are making this tough decision in order to give ourselves a few extra weeks to apply final polish to the game and to deliver you with the best possible experience, wrote producer Yoshinori Kitase on Square Enix's website. I, on behalf of the whole team, want to apologise to everyone, as I know that this means waiting for the game just a little bit longer. Thankfully, the delay is a pretty short one, and it'll be worth it to see a more polished game as a result. Although giving demo footage has already leaked spoilers of the game, it looks like fans will have to be vigilant with spoiler hashtags for a little while longer. Go on then, babe. Impressions, thoughts?
I mean, we've waited 5 years for this game. 5 years, Graham. Do you know what I mean? It's waiting a month longer isn't going to be that much of a big deal. It just needs to be a showstopper.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm gonna try hit play on the trailer, but as it's on Eurogamer, I know it's just gonna hit straight into ads. Not bothered.
Yeah, I mean the Mighty Quinn there as sorry Precision. Yeah, got to head off. No worries, mate. Give him a love to your dad as well.
Okay. Yes, and same here.
So they may take their the Mighty Quinn says they may take their time and get it right for the fans, releasing 5 days before Cyberpunk. As a budget gamer, unfortunately, Cyberpunk takes priority.
And
again,
jumping on his previous comment as well. Define unfortunate. All these games releasing in the same month as Cyberpunk.
It's ridiculous. Like, I'm struggling here because I will not be able to get. We mentioned it before. The 5 games that they've got coming out within the space of a month and a half of each other. Well, sorry, just over 2 months. Doom, Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy, Cyberpunk, and The Last of Us 2 over 2 months. That potentially is going to be over £250 worth of games. I can't afford that. I'm fairly certain most of the other people that are working 9 to 5 probably can't afford that too. So there will be a point where we're going to have to put one of these on the back burner, and unfortunately, I think as much as I absolutely love the original one, Final Fantasy Remake is just going to have to take a back seat.
Yeah, looking at it on screen now, so the Eurogamer ads have gone, so I can play the video for you now. It looks class. The quality of the visuals just looks amazing. And if you're into Final Fantasy, if you're a lifelong Final Fantasy VII fan, which so many people are, I never played it, so that kind of gets lost on me a little bit. But it looks class. However, as you just mentioned there, 250 quid's worth of games, and as the Mighty Quinn says, I will take the actual wording. The timing as a budget gamer is unfortunate, and that's the thing. Is if we're looking at Persona 5, then what comes out on the 3rd of April, babe? Is it? I can't remember.
It reminds me of Shresment Beeble.
So then we get Shresment Beeble. But then, yeah, you get this, and you've got a few days to finish it before you start on Cyberpunk 2077, which, for all intents and purposes, could be another huge game. It's not like The Last of Us, which is probably it's my hype game of the year. So obviously Bibby's a big fan of Resident, and even that Resident Evil, The Last of Us, you can smash through in 5 or 6 days. And that's, you could probably smash through it in a day or two if you put the hours in. But if you're playing it a few hours and a few solid stints, you can get through that in that time. But Final Fantasy VII has been it's known for being such a massive game with lots.
Mate, you're not getting any change out of 80 hours out of that game, and that's just for base game. That's before anything else.
Absolutely. So that coming out a few days before Cyberpunk, whilst that's really good. My pun in the discussing now, Final Fantasy VII, for fuck's sake. I mean, I was saying it's a good thing that the game is delayed. Exactly what Mighty Quint has said and what we've been brushing over now. I'm just gonna take the video off screen. Maybe not. Maybe it's a good thing in terms of if that is your game of the year. If that's what you've been waiting for since the PS1, since you first heard it anyway, at least being remastered. If that's the game, then you're fair enough. Cyberpunk will take a back shelf. It will be there when you've done. But for people that have been waiting for Cyberpunk as well, knowing that, okay, I've got a month to get Final Fantasy out of the way before I start on Cyberpunk, you haven't now. You've got a matter of days. Yeah, that will be a big thing. Not only is it budget, but it's time and getting... So...
There is one big thing with the Final Fantasy game, though, that this is going to be in episodes. It's not going to be... You're not getting the full game on release. Now, they haven't told you exactly how many episodes there's going to be or when the episodes are going to be rounded off. So, allegedly, it's going to be in 3 different parts. That's kind of like a rumor. Again, if you are in here and you know more on this subject than I do, feel free to chip in and help me out here. But as far as I remember, it's going to be in 3 parts, but we're not necessarily know when those are going to be. So you could play the game for 30 hours. That's disc 1. Or episode 1, then another 30 hours, number 2, and then so we don't know when the actual series is going to be. I say series, I don't know when the episodes are going to be concluded, whether or not it's going to be one a year for the next 3 years, or they're going to have the entire box set available in box set. Jesus, we'll call it a box set. They're going to have the complete game in 2022. I have absolutely no idea, but there is no way that I'm fronting up the cash for this now. When we've got the next couple of months like this. I mean, for up until June this year, my wage is pretty much going on life rather than games. But believe me, I'm carving out at least 100 sheets for Resident Evil 3 and Cyberpunk. They're the 2 that I'm looking out for the most. So I will get Last of Us as well.
We'll just have to buy selectively. So you buy Resident Evil 3, I'll buy The Last of Us. And then we'll just hit up Holly Bennett for Cyberpunk, please. So it's fine. It's fine. We'll share.
Please, Holly, please.
May they take the time and get it right for the fans. We've done that one. I need to have the cash ready for a new console too. Painful. Yeah, exactly that. Consoles. There's 2 new consoles coming this year. Plus, then obviously there's
potentially a Switch Pro, potentially a Switch Pro, potentially a Switch Pro 2, so that could be 3 consoles.
Yeah, potentially. So I've made my mind up with this delay. It's an episodic game release, so Cyberpunk is objectively a bigger release. I'll wait for Final Fantasy VII to come out as a full release, says Mighty Quint in the chat, which I wouldn't be surprised if a number of people do that, in terms of they tick off Cyberpunk, they tick off The Last of Us, and then towards the end of the year, if they have... I don't know how they do it. Are they going to do it in DLC 2, 3? As Bib said, we've not had that information yet. You might find people wait until they have the Ultimate Edition or the Final Fantasy VII collection or whatever the bundle is that has everything in. Or invariably, they'll release that at the end of it. So you might find a lot of people wait for that before they actually jump into that. Which
I won't blame them either.
The thing there though is you have to assume that Square Enix have thought this through. They've thought, okay, Final Fantasy is a huge game for us in terms of potential sales, and for them to put it back, knowing that it puts them into that release window, and knowing that it moves them into a whole new tax year, which is a debate that we're not going to get into because tax and stuff is just boring as hell. But essentially, that has loads of knock-on effects for them. So you kind of feel that whilst it's good, so I always praise developers for taking the time to go, do you know what, actually, we've not done it as quickly as we expected. We're going to hold off and give you the best plan. Giving the best plan is always the best option. And for them to do that with all of that considered, it kind of makes you feel that they had to do it. There was something that wasn't good enough in the game. So it's a bit duff for some people, but it's clearly going to be the right thing because the worst thing would have been spending that money a month earlier and wasting it knowing that it wasn't a finished product.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough of Final Fantasy VII because we can go from one delay to another. Although I'm going to let Baby waffle now while I update the discussing now text slyly and cleverly, and you don't even notice that I'm doing it.
So all of you that are in the chat, then obviously it's going to be very expensive 3 months coming up, March, April and May. What are the games? I mean, it's fairly obvious from the chat as it stands, but if you are playing at home, feel free to let us know on social media. But what is the game that you're looking forward to? I only want one choice out of the 5 that we've given. I mean, if there's any other games that you're massively into, like Persona that I didn't list because I'm not into it, what is it that you are looking forward to? Because it is, again, going to be a very expensive couple of months, not to mention, like the Mighty Quint did, with the consoles coming out at the end of the year, which is going to give you no short change of about 400 to 500 sheets. What you're looking forward to, let us know.
Exactly, and obviously before we get into all of the April stuff, I think we've mentioned it already, but there is also Doom Eternal to consider as well. And I have played the first hour of Doom on the Xbox. I think I played it on the Xbox One X in the studio when we had a show called An Hour With and we did an hour with Doom. Anyway, we don't do that show anymore because we didn't want to. However, I quite enjoyed it. It was loud, it was bombastic and stuff. But it was also for the first hour. The annoying thing with doing 1 hour of a game on stream and then stopping it is invariably you just get hand-holded tutorial crap. So I played a bit of Doom and I've hardly got out of that bit, so I didn't really get the enjoyment of it. So I've not really been hyped for Doom Eternal. However, Doom Eternal has a new trailer, and I watched it in prep for this show, and it actually looks classed. Have you watched the trailer, babe?
I most certainly have.
Okay, let's bring.
I mean, when we was at E3, no, not E3, when we was at Gamescom, they had it all over the gaff, and we got to go around, and I got to take pictures in certain places. It looked amazing. People looked like they were thoroughly enjoying it as well.
Well, I'll bring the article up on stream. This is written by Steph Nunneley for VG247. She says, Doom Eternal trailer shows off the Marauder, Gladiator, Crucible weapon, and more. A new Doom Eternal trailer is now available for your eyes to enjoy. I'll hit play on that while I'm reading. And mute it as well because it's loud. Bethesda has released a new trailer for Doom Eternal today, after first showing it off during a live stream. The new action-packed trailer gives us a look at new enemies like the Marauder and the Gladiator, new glory kills, the Crucible weapon, and more. It releases for PC, PS4, and Xbox One on March the 20th. So within the first that couple of week period where everything just goes crazy. Obviously, everyone's talking about April as being the chaotic month for the year. End of March starts it all off, really.
Absolutely.
A Nintendo Switch port will also become available later in the year. Here's everything you need to know about the game ahead of time, including information, multiplayer, pre-order bonuses, and more. And that's on the link in the article what they're saying. All that information is. We won't jump through to that link. I will leave this trailer playing for now. But my first look at this trailer, and I'm thinking it might have already been on. Yeah, it's already been on. There's a bit where there's a plane that's clearly crashed into a building. And it's one of those, like, I mean, Doom is over the top. That's what you're investing in. Over the top, loud, bombastic, to the point of almost being stupid. But there's a scene on this trailer where there's a plane that's crashed into a building. But it's like the plane was just one stiff object that's just kind of crashed in. Its nose is sticking out of one end, the wing's sticking out of the other. Obviously, that wouldn't happen. It would have just disintegrated, and there'd be a big virus. So I see stuff like that, and I instantly think, it's just Doom stupidness. But then when I watch through this gameplay, this just looks like fun. Like, I don't like double jumping and spacesuity stuff in Call of Duty and that multiplayer boots on the ground environment. But something about Doom makes me detach from that. So seeing something like this, it just looks crazy as feck. So you get yourself a big loud blah, 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 like Doom sort of soundtrack underneath it, and it just looks like it's just gonna be like exactly. I think I used the word bombastic. That sort of loud, stupid experience, which is just gonna be adrenaline to feck. So yeah, check the trailer out if you want to see it for yourself. It's really good with the sound. Obviously, we're not going to play all that through because we turned this into an audio podcast, and if we had that, then you wouldn't hear anything for us for a good 2 minutes, which may not be a bad thing. Some may say. Next Gen Renegade says, been keeping my eye on Biomutant, but it's Cyberpunk, Resident Evil 3, and Last of Us 2 for me. Cyberpunk, then Last of Us, Save My Euros for PS5, and then and Ghost of Tsushima. And my wife and kids want Animal Crossing. Well, that's the thing. You've got to look after the familiar as well. You need to get the games that they're going to play. By the way, if you haven't got it already, massive shout out to Luigi's Mansion. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, try it. But that's just another game for you to buy with all the other games for you to buy. Yes. But yeah, saving the euros for the PS5. I think that's going to be the big thing. Especially after that. So if you start in March with the Dooms and the Personas, and then you get the Cyberpunks, the Resis, the Final Fantasies, and then you get all of the stuff around E3, and that's when you probably hit with pre-order your PS5 now, or pre-order your Series X Xbox console now. So it's just going to be a constant year of spend for the games industry. So it could be quite fatiguing by the end of the year, but do you know what? No worries. If you can't afford it, we will have playthroughs for most of that on Ice Cream Uploads anyway. So we got you.
Yeah, we will.
We got you. I say we, baby's got you, because he plays games better than me. If you want to see one person play one game repeatedly for the rest of his life, PUBG, then that's me. Yes. But yes, yeah. Okay, we obviously have a couple of bits more to go through. Just want to ask anything you want to add on Doom Eternal before I jump ahead.
Yes, I honestly can't wait for it. It looks great. The first one, like you say, is just an absolute. Did they call it a bullet hell game? It's just like it's bullet hell. I don't know. I can never remember if bullet hell's one of the ones where like you're the aircraft and you're just constantly firing bullets and like like we played at Arcade Club where we had the 4 screens. And you just got the little spaceship and you're just firing across.
Yeah.
And I can never remember if that's a bullet hell game or it's or it's a game where it's just a first-person shoot with like Quake, like Unreal, like Doom. I can never remember the definition of it for those, but yeah, it's just blood, gore, and demons. What more can you ask for a Doom game?
Sounds like a trip to Stafford Precinct. Anyway, okay, jumping ahead. One thing I'm gonna throw in a cheesy tangent there. One thing that we didn't really touch on there, and we're not really going to touch on now, to be fair, is that Doom will also have a Switch version. A Switch, that's the one I wanted. Version of the game coming out later in the year. So if you do have a Switch, then yeah, you don't have to pick up one of the consoles for it. You can play it on there. Speaking of Switch games, and this is the tangent, I'll bring the discussion now. BioShock Twitch. Oh, I wrote Twitch. That's why I set it up. God, get in. I meant to put Switch. There we go. BioShock Switch ports. There we go. So BioShock will potentially be coming to the Switch, and I'll just jump straight into the news from Emma Kent on Eurogamer. And she says, BioShock Switch ports listed by Taiwanese ratings board. At last. Once again, the Taiwanese rating board appears to have given us a heads up on an upcoming release, as the website has listed several BioShock titles for Nintendo Switch. As spotted by Lootpots, the website shows 4 listings: BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2 Remastered, BioShock Infinite the Complete Edition, and BioShock the Collection. The latter contains all BioShock titles, including DLC. But as the games have also been listed separately, it's possible these will be available for individual purchase. And then there's a tweet embedded in there from, I never know how to say this. I want to say Nibellion.
Nibble.
Or Nibel. Is it Nibble and Nibellion like rebellion, or is it Nibel like Nigel? If you know, please let me know in the chat. Is it not Big Nibe? Not Big Nige, but Big Nibe.
Big Nibe.
Anyway, so while yet to be officially confirmed by Nintendo or Publisher 2K, the Discovery has further stoked rumours of an upcoming Nintendo Direct. We'll have to stay tuned to see if the posts are being released this season. Is that some sort of BioShock reference? This sea?
Yeah, because you're under the sea.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. Oh, there we go. I would have done if I'd have watched like 4 seconds of the trailer that's playing now, because there was like some squiddy octopusy thing.
I love BioShock. This is good news. I can't believe it's taken them so long to be able to port something like this. But the main reason I wanted to post it in there, not only is it a good game, But we are again seeing AAA games being ported over to the Switch, and I've been saying it for a long time now. Switch is easily my favorite console. I absolutely adore it. The amount of games that I'm being able to play in it at the moment, take it everywhere with me when we're going traveling and things like that. The fact that I can take these experiences with me, it's the best, and it's only every console now should look to do something like this, regardless of the power of it. Like we've seen the Alienware one, that's potentially meant to be able to play your PC games. The Switch has set the bar.
Yeah, I think like with Project xCloud, Microsoft have probably seen this and gone, okay, we need to make it so that our games are on the go. The downside with having games on the go, obviously we spoke about PC games in particular. By the time you get to the end of a console generation, PC as a format has improved massively. You've gone from games that need a couple of gig of RAM or whatever to need 72,000 gigs of RAM, and it's like, what? It was only 3 years later. So yeah, maybe not 72,000, but you get the point where I'm going with that dramatization. Anyway, so I think Microsoft have realised, okay, if we can run it all through the Xbox, but then just be able to stream stuff on xCloud, that gets our stuff portable without the need of selling additional hardware, which I think is probably the greatest way to go for it. I think Project xCloud, and this is the reason why Stadia pisses me off so much. I love the idea of Stadia. It's amazing that streaming tech is the future of gaming. It absolutely is. If you don't think it is, then tell me in 10 years' time. And if you're right, fine, fair enough. But I'm nailed on in stream tech is where it's going to be. Microsoft know that, and they know that. Okay, we're releasing the X series of consoles. We can't be releasing the Microsoft X Switch or whatever they're going to call it, which is their own handheld thing. You've got a phone, you've got a tablet, you've got whatever. You can play our games on those. Or we'll just give you a dongle like Stadia have tried to do, and then you can play it on the go, whatever. And I think that's kind of the way they are going to go. But in the meantime, we've still got to get there. Switch has finally started to do what I admittedly kind of lost faith in. I didn't think they were going to get there. I thought it was going to be, I've got a PS Vita, I have a PS Vita, I don't know where it is. It's in a drawer somewhere because I don't use it. That's kind of how it is. And I thought the Switch was going that way because it started off and it was a bit slow with the titles coming out, and it was all Nintendo stuff. And Nintendo stuff is obviously hugely successful, but Nintendo stuff isn't my sort of stuff. I'm very much a Sony and a Microsoft kind of loud, bombastic gamer. I want huge story, emotive single-player experiences, not family fun games kind of thing. Those are good, and I do like those, but that's not my staple kind of idea of content. But now Switch has got past that, and yes, you are getting things like Luigi's Mansion, which is that family fun stuff, but I'm enjoying it. But then you're getting teasers of Doom coming later in the year. Is BioShock coming? And we're getting to that point where it's like, okay, Switch has made it. It's done it, guys. It's done it. It's done what the PSP didn't do until everyone started hacking it and getting illegal stuff on it, and so it didn't didn't the Vita never managed it, but the Switch has. The Switch is hugely successful, so GG Nintendo. The downside with the DS for me was it didn't enough break away from the Nintendo. The DS for me was a Pokemon portable console. Well, everything's Pokemon portable. You don't really, but that's kind of what it was. Whereas the Switch has progressed past that, which I'm happy with. It's good to see. But that was that. Anything else you'd like to see on the Switch that hasn't been announced yet? What would you like to see on the Switch, babe?
That's a very good question. Are we going from games from like the PS3, Xbox 360? Just anything really.
Either, I mean, we could be talking PS3, Xbox 360. We could be talking something that's coming out now, or something that hasn't been announced but you would like to see there.
You see, obviously, ding, ding, ding. I'd like to see more Resident Evils being put on it, but to be honest with you, the price that you're having to pay for the Resident Evils that are on it now are not worth paying. Despite my love for the franchise, I am not paying £35 to £40 for a game that I could pick up on any other console for about £5. So yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you.
I have a specific need that I want from a Switch and from a portable console. And they're arguably, I mean, you can vouch for it more than me, but there are arguably games that satisfy that itch already, and that is football on the go. So if we played, was it FIFA 18 on your Switch in the airport after Gamescom?
Yes, yes, it was.
But then you were saying like, okay, they've not really done another one. They've released like they reskin it with the updates of the kits and the formations and rosters and whatever. Okay, that's nice having all that roster updates, but I want a good solid mobile, portable, not mobile, portable football game. I want to play Volta and the other features of FIFA on the go. I want to play Master League and start the story and take it with me and put it on my TV when I get back. I want that sort of stuff. And the fact that the install base of the Switch is so strong, and if there's a Switch Pro coming, hopefully that gives enough of a G up for football gaming developers to go, yeah, okay, we're going to get behind this.
I mean, there is a lot of football games on there, but granted, they are all shit, barring FIFA. There's no other competitor in the footballing market on the Switch for FIFA. So even if PES was to port the mobile version of their game onto the Switch, they would see not only just for the micro part of it, because obviously they're going to get a stupid amount of money if they're able to do that. But I just want to be able to play PES Mobile with a controller. I hate the fact that I have to use my phone or my tablet. I've got massive hands, and I hate using touchscreen stuff. It's dumb. I don't like it at all. So the fact that obviously they've had over 200 million people download the game, that says a lot for the people that are playing it compared to what my thoughts are of it. But just port that version to the Switch and just let people crack on with it. You believe me, it'd be worth the investment. But I've just had a quick look at games that I would like. I've got a list of all my digital games and all my physical games at home, and there's a couple that stand out for me. Now, the first one would have been Skyrim, but we've now got that. Well, we've had that for a while on the Switch. But obviously the prequel to that, which would have been Oblivion, I would have loved to have seen that on there. Fable, Sausage Fingers Gang says Connor. Is that what you're laughing at?
Yeah, I just want to jump in. Thanks for the host, D-Mac. Good morning. Yeah, I was laughing at Connor in the chat. Says, touchscreen doesn't work for me either. Hashtag Sausage Finger Gang.
That's it. So I can't play games like that. So touchscreen games, nope, you're okay. Yeah, but Oblivion, that would have been a good shout, but we've already got Skyrim, so I can't see him going back further. Then there's a lot of games that are first party that I would have loved to have seen, like Fable. I absolutely love Fable. I would love to see another one on there. Gears of War, you'd obviously like to see that on there. But do you not think it's baffling that they haven't put a Call of Duty out on it yet?
Yeah, I find that quite odd, especially how big Call of Duty Mobile is as well. I mean, similar sort of thing. 200 million downloads for PES Mobile. Call of Duty Mobile is massive. PUBG Mobile is massive. That not being there is quite bizarre to me.
They've got Overwatch now, so that's a competitor for Paladins. They've got Fortnite, which is a massive competitor for the Realm Royale gang. But yeah, they've got a few Battle Royales and things like that on there, but I feel like they could be capitalising more. Like, I don't think there's a Batman game on there. Batman games are amazing. I'd love to see one on there.
Interesting.
Far Cry, that's another one. Alan Wake. Alan Wake is one of the best games ever, especially on the Xbox 360.
I have never
played it. Have you not? No. To be fair, it's a survival horror game. It could have easily been a book. Like, as I was playing it, I was like, shit, this could have been a really good book or a film. But that's really, really good if you're into them kind of games.
I am a father of two, and I sit in the living room with my family. Sitting here playing Doom Eternal won't be an option. We got to make those sacrifices, and allowing me to do more adult gaming and handheld screen is a plus. Exactly. So if you're sat there with your two little ones running around, you can't be loading up a survival horror game. Daddy,
no,
what's that? Oh God, get out the room! Get out the room! Hit touch screen when I dial a number. I press the 1 and 9 button at the same time. Fun problems.
It's just one of the things. And lastly, just to add this one in there, how have we not seen a Fallout game on there too?
Yeah, exactly.
Bethesda are doing loads of bits in regards to the Switch. Let's stick a Fallout on there. New Vegas, preferably. The Outer Worlds, obviously, that's not a Bethesda game, but potentially that is coming to the Switch soon. So we're going to get some kind of RPG first-person shooter on this. But yeah, those are the kind of games that I would like to see on there. They're the big games that I think would be really, really good on that console.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda, now they're almost at the point where they can put Doom out the door, they will also get to the point where they can fix Fallout 76. At that point, they will probably go, okay, now it's safe for us to try push the game somewhere else. It's entirely possible that they was like, okay, push out Fallout 76, high five in the community, everyone loves it, we'll run around doing one of those Cotton Eye Joe dances where you link your arms and spin around in a circle, jobs are good, and yeah, and then we'll throw it out on the Switch. But then clearly it's all gone, we gone done fucked up, so now they're like, oh no, okay, we can't release it on the Switch, because if we release a game that's not good elsewhere, we're just going to get more hate, so let's just shelve that until we fix it. So it could come to the Switch. Heck, let's get all the classics on it. Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, Fallout, Witcher. Witcher's on there already now, I believe, isn't it? Yeah. Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, yeah. Jesus, don't put the first one on there. Fuck me.
I mean, no, we don't want Elder Scrolls. We don't want Mass Effect. We don't want Fallout. We don't want any of that stuff if we can't have PUBG, which is a tedious link into our next bit of news. So there we go. PUBG Season 6 is out now. Jumping into it, because we've been live for 1 hour and 17 minutes. We need to start wrapping things up. So we did touch on this yesterday. I will just go through it quickly on screen for you now. Let's make that full screen so you can see it a bit better. Okay, so PUBG Season 6 is update 6.1 is now on the test server. I'm not going to hit play on that video. One, because I've not seen, I don't know if it's something that will be worth watching. If it's just a guy waffling to a camera, we don't really want to see that. But I'll go through the details within the article. Season 6 is upon us, and it brings a brand new island to the battleground. So this was something we spoke about yesterday. We kind of teased that it was coming. There's been a few data mines that had suggested it, but we didn't have the details. So we're just going to quickly run through that now. So Karakin has risen, like its namesake, from the sea to bring intense action and quick gameplay to PUBG. I wonder if that's supposed to be like Kraken then, like the Kraken sea creature. Is that how you're supposed to say Kraken? Anyway, new dangers, new weapons, and a whole new island awaits. So let's drop into the action of update 6.1. So there is a look at the first map. This is only a 2x2 square. Usually PUBG is 16x16 or 8x8, so this is going to be tiny. There's going to be players everywhere. However, to combat that a little bit, they've reduced that, as it says in this next paragraph. Karakin or Karakino Goro is a 2x2 kilometre island off the coast of northern Africa. It's an arid, rocky environment that provides wide open terrain and challenging engagements. It's a small, fast, and dangerous place. Expect the tension of Miramar combined with the pace of Sanok. Karakin or Karakan or Karina Ganana or Pina Colada is 64 players in this map. Players should expect long-distance rifle engagements in the mountains, tactical urban conflict, and claustrophobic underground combat. And with the introduction of the Black Zone, Karakuna reveals its twist, a map that's layout that changes every match, which is pretty tasty. A few screenshots there. Obviously, I'll scroll past these because I'm let's face it, I'm only talking PUBG for me. You guys don't care. I'm not joking. You do really. You love it. We all love it. Black Zone, which is available in Kraken only. Our new hazard, the Black Zone, is only available in Kraken. Okay, we'll just say Kraken. We'll stick with that for now. Our new hazard, the Black Zone, only available in Kraken, levels buildings into smoking ruins. The Black Zone is designed to push players out of the safety of building. The hazard is random. Towns and compounds can be undamaged, totally flattened, and everything in between. The mix of buildings and ruins evolves in real time throughout the match, meaning don't always expect that building that you run to for cover to be there late in the match. Remember, if you hear the siren and you're inside that purple circle on the minimap, evacuate! Buildings destroyed by the Black Zone will be marked with an X on the minimap. There's a new throwable, which is a sticky bomb. Also, to change up siege play, they're introducing breach points, which can be destroyed with sticky bombs in Kraken, which... This is the bit we were talking about yesterday. Sounds like a bit of Rainbow Six Siege. The fact that they use siege play as wording sounds like it's good to me. It sounds like that's kind of what they're going for. The ability to blow holes in walls and change the face of the map of the combat. So certain walls and floors have breach points which can be destroyed with sticky bombs. This feature presents more tools for our players. For campers, it allows more sight lines and windows to be created. For squads going on the offensive, however, there are new options for storming buildings. Do we blast in through the back of the building or through the roof? Maybe both. The choice is yours. And for explorers, we've hidden many secret areas for those players with a spare sticky bomb or two and a keen nose for loot, which that's kind of cool. Blow your hole in a floor and then go get some rare loot stuffs. And finally, to make interior gunfights a little more interesting, we're adding bullet penetration to the weak walls in Kraken 2. Getting brief glimpses of your teammates through damaged drywall and deciding to take the fight or regroup gives players more options. At PUBG, we are dedicated to provide new experience for you, the player, and pushing what's possible in our genre. We can't wait for you to experience it yourself, which is all hype as fuck for someone like me. I mean, that just... It's been a bit tedious playing through PUBG Season 5 because it started like October, November time, and it's ran all the way until January, and now you just kind of done everything. You've hit your level 100, the Season Pass is over and done with, not really to play for, you're just playing for the sake of it, and you just think, I want a little bit more exciting. The fact that they're adding all of that cool stuff in, so bullet penetration is standard when you're playing Call of Duty, but when you've been playing a game like PUBG day in, day out for 2 years, and suddenly now you're getting shot through walls, it changes it. Blowing holes in walls and different attack ways, it changes the mindset of the game. Buildings being flattened while you're in them, and then obviously at the bottom of the screen, which I didn't touch on because we went on it yesterday, the motor glider playing. So it's taken a bit of time, but the guys at PUBG Corp are definitely pushing ahead with adding more content and stuff to the game. The downside, I still believe, and I will still stick to what I said yesterday, I think it's too late. The downside with having a game doing so well, being in early access, it's amazing because it builds your company. They went from being Bluehole to PUBG Corp, this massive company that's got investment from Tencent and all the rest. They've changed the world. They've got the game out on multiple different formats, but it's way bigger than they ever expected. And because of that, they couldn't create the content. They didn't have the team there to develop the content. To supply the demand of the community. Obviously, the community have dropped off. They've gone via Fortnite and into Tarkov and different gameplays, different games, different tastes, different genres. So the demand for PUBG has dropped, but now, annoyingly, this is where they've got the supply of content where the demand isn't there. Hopefully, this revitalizes it and brings a bit more in, but I will still stick with the fact that they need a PUBG 2 eventually, if they can drum up the interest and keep people interested and prove to people that they can create content regularly and they can satisfy needs and stuff like that, as they are doing now. So with the new Survivor Pass starting today on PC, if they can do that for the rest of the season and then for the rest of the year, for the next 2 years, whatever, and then hit people with PUBG 2, they can show that, okay, we've learned how to satisfy the demand for your content, and now we're going to give you all of that in a polished gameplay and an athletic game, as Dr. Disrespect would say. So yeah, babe, when were we jumping in?
When I reinstall it.
After you,
I didn't uninstall it. I mean, you're decent at the PlayStation version now. What your skills may be like in the PC arena. When was the last time you played on the PC version?
When was the last time we played on the PC version?
There we go then. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not a game that I'm absolutely dying or desperate to play. I'd much rather boot up Fortnite, if I'm being honest, and I never, ever, ever thought I would say that.
I know, it's bizarre. I'm enjoying playing Fortnite. I didn't play it yesterday purely because I didn't realise the dailies on Fortnite will roll over for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, I can have a couple of days off Fortnite and then jump on it whenever. So that was good. But yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay, well, I think we should call it quits there. It's an hour and 25 minutes into an hour-long show. So you guys that are here live in the chat, you've got all the extras, especially Griff. 96. Good morning. Says, morning guys. Sorry I'm a bit late today. No worries. Thank you for being here at all. We appreciate anyone that drops in. Hey, as someone who has never played a BR, why should I invest my time in one, including PUBG, over the other BRs out there? Do you know what? Don't limit yourself to PUBG. I've played quite a few BRs. I prefer PUBG because of the difficulty, the complexity, the narrative, the fact that you get invested in the storyline and all that. But I also play Fortnite, which is a very, very, very different game. They're really good to just pick up and play. Bibby looks like he's. Can you hear me, Bib?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you've frozen on my screen. Let's bring Bibby full screen. Hey, look at him. Yeah. But yeah, while Bibby just looks longingly at the microphone, I will continue talking. Yeah. BRs are good for pick up and play, especially if you've got a family around you. As you say, you've got two little ones. If you're playing in the living room, Fortnite will be something that's bright, that's colourful, that isn't offensive, and they can get behind it. They'll be invested in. Oh, it's pretty cool. Daddy can do funny dancing, and he's got sounds and stuff like that. And oh my god! So yeah, it's really cool. But PUBG for me, not so much something the little ones will be interested in because it can be quite slow. But yeah, it builds. But I will talk to you about that one on the next show because we're just going to wrap things up. But thank you very much for being here, Mighty Quint. PUBG on PS4 says there to DMAC. Is that an actual question? Yes. Yes, it is. I don't understand why Bib's just kind of like given up. Even his head on the shoulder kind of thing is just stationary. Bib,
has it just fallen apart?
Yeah, the video, you've just stopped moving. We've got your audio, but you're look.
Oh, I've just booted it up. My head's well and truly fallen off there.
Just like.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Bibby takes musical statues seriously. Thanks for the show. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, says Mighty Quinn. Thank you very much, and everyone else that's in the chat as well. Thank you very much for being here. Bibby he's pretty much dumbfounded by the support that we've had from you guys in the stream today. He just can't bring himself to say
blue
words.
Screened.
He's actually 100%. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will go through this, even though Bibby is, he's struggling to find the feeling, the emotion to express it right now. But it's been a pleasure to have you here. We will be live again in around 15 minutes as Josie will be back on the channel playing some Death Stranding. So make sure you stick around for that. If you've got nothing else to do today and you want to get into some gameplay, Josie will be back with that. We will obviously be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow from the home/studio setup that we've been using today, myself and the Bibarino. Hopefully we get a bit more movement out of Bib in tomorrow's show. Which is
You're lazy.
And if you're listening to this on the podcast services, basically Bibby's just stationary and has been for about 15 minutes on the show. But it's fine. It's fine. Obviously, we will be putting this as a standalone video podcast on YouTube. So if you've just dropped in, like Griff has, maybe you want to see the full show back and you want to watch it on demand, it will be on YouTube in around an hour. Obviously, you can watch it back on our broadcasts on Twitch. We have all of our broadcasts saved, so it will be there for you. Also, to the guys on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes, we will upload our audio podcast a little bit later on today. Much love to Number One Pirate, who's just typed !socials in the chat. That has given you the link to all of our social medias there. If you want to see us and take the conversation off stream and have it on socials, that's where you can get involved with us. One thing to mention is we have a Resident Evil giveaway. So we covered Resident Evil and Nemesis a little bit earlier on the stream. If you check out our Twitter, which funnily enough is at Ice Cream Uploads, like everything is, you will see that we are giving away 3 pieces of Resident Evil 2 official merch on twitter.com/Ice Cream Uploads. So make sure you check that out. Also, much love to Pirate for dropping ! merch. If you want sexy Ice Cream Uploads merchandise, use the link to our Gamers Apparel store in there. Esports jerseys, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, get it all. Anything else you want to add before we disappear for the day, Bibarino?
Yes, I will try and say this without the mic breaking up. But again, if you do see anything knocking about in the video game hemisphere, then feel free to tag the Ice Cream Uploads accounts, myself, which is We've Got Babinio, Graham Day at Graham_Day, revolutionary Twitter tag right there, and also Jeroen as well, because at some point this week I think he'll be making an appearance too. So all 3 of us, tag the Ice Cream Uploads account. We will look forward to your opinions, and you can hear ours the very next.
I think he said next day. I don't know. It dropped out there. But yes, I believe Luke will be on Friday's show with Bibby from the Ice Cream Upload studio. We still need to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that is. So actually in there. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, back in 15 minutes on this channel for some Death Stranding with Josie. But from myself and the stationary Babinho, have yourselves a very lovely day. And remember, stay frosty.